Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to part 55 of Let's Play American Truck Simulator. Star Legion Trucking, where we have got a job to go to Beaumont. And I'm not going to fuck it up this part. Oh, who am I kidding? Of course I am. It would be me if I didn't fuck it up.
Let's go.
Oh yeah, I remember. I did a really cool drive in there. There we go. So, off we go today. So this is going to be a two-parter more than likely. We'll probably stop around the 35-minute mark, because I know this is going to be a two-parter no matter what. We've got to rest in 14 hours. Right. So let's go get a rest. Probably going to rest about here. Yeah, pretty much. We'll call it here for now, for the sake of getting it right.
Let's get
going.
Done.
So yeah, it's still fresh in my mind that I fucked up yesterday. Sorry, in the last part. Oh, technically, yeah, it was the last part. It was the last part I fucked up in. It wasn't the part before last. Because cars do come down here. We do have to make sure we turn properly. All right. Yeah, I'm ignoring the 15-mile-an-hour limit though. That's just dumb. I want to get to where I'm going on time, you know? I updated my music mix, so we're not listening to heavy metal today, or just metal in general. We're listening to some old school songs. And when I say old school songs, I don't mean old school metal. I mean, that would be my classic rock playlist, which I'd listen to. At the moment, I'm actually listening to, because I think you guys might be interested to know what I listen to on these trips. Because ever since I started adding music, now I don't add music to the videos due to two different things. The first factor is, of course, copyright. I don't add music because of copyright. I don't want to get sued for listening to, you know, some like, oh, not to get sued. I don't want to, like, you know, get copyright claimed and then lose my video due to listening to some songs. I'm going to move forward a little bit because I'm a little worried about that. But yeah, so obviously, yeah. But if you guys want to listen along, I can tell you the music I'm listening to. At the moment, I'm listening to, I am listening, and as I'm going to say, I don't know how many people will know of what I'm listening to, but I am currently listening to the S Club 7. Because I'm listening to what I made a playlist of called my old school playlist, and it's essentially loads and loads of like songs that I don't normally listen to. So like Bass Hunter, we've got Aqua, which is the group behind the song Barbie Girl. If you didn't know, I did. You know, it's like some of like the classic 2000 pop music, which I'm not generally a big fan of pop music at all. I think it's generally processed garbage, and in all fairness, in retrospect, you could say the same for 2000s pop music. It's probably processed garbage, but it's nostalgic processed garbage, so it's a bit different. But essentially, yeah, I'm listening to what I consider old school music, which is but we're also gonna have to get a quick yeah. So I'm listening to that. I've got some Bass Hunter in the mix. I've got some Cartoon, which is the Witch Doctor song, which I need to skip because I've listened to that earlier. But essentially, yeah, we have a bunch of old classic songs like that. If you guys like these songs, blast them. If you haven't heard of them, if you're like too young to not have known these songs, I feel bad for you because these songs are classic. But yeah, so I'm essentially listening to something that I normally wouldn't listen to, like, because normally we play the heavy metal mix, which is, you know, filled with Spotify's recommendations of songs that I should listen to that are in the metal department. So, but yeah, we'll not focus on the music anymore. But if you guys want to know what I'm listening to, there it is. And if you guys want me to link playlists, just let me know and I will link them, because I do have certain playlists that I listen to. But I don't generally expect any of you to be really that interested in my musical taste. But if you are, you know, feel free to ask. But yeah, so today, once we drop this load off, we'll try and buy... no, wait, we're paying off the loan, aren't we? Yeah, so we're going to pay off our 400 grand loan. Because once we pay that off, we can then buy, well, numerous trucks. And probably, maybe, a new garage. We'll see. I think I'm going to do the strategy of buying garages and then upgrading them later. Now, realistically, it's probably way more expensive to do this and not as price effective, but I just kind of like the idea. That's what I'm going to do. I mean, the sooner I can expand out of Texas, the sooner I can buy, you know, I can make sure I get triples and stuff like that and, you know, get some cool stuff. Also, is this a journey completely on the interstate? Oh, it is as well. These are my favorite journeys. Ones that I don't leave the interstate. The reason these are my favorite is because I have less chance of fucking it. Actually, you know what? That's a lie. I actually did tip on the interstate, so. Okay, still. Either way, I still enjoy these a lot. It's just a nice high-speed cruise. It's not always the most scenic, but then again, in America, to me, this is really scenic. Whereas in Europe, the motorways are not the best, but I do think they look beautiful in ATS. Oh, that guy's going to really annoy me if he doesn't pull over. I've heard that if you flash them, they move over. Must have been bullshit, because that guy's not pulling over. You can actually see my highlight headlights on him really well, even in the day. Though it is 20 past 8, so I guess, you know, that could also be a factor. And we are going to pull off in about 200 miles to get some diesel. Or at the very least, that's where I'm estimating I'm going to pull off. I don't actually know if we will. I haven't worked out the maths, and nor do I intend to. Come on, buddy. Whoever told me this in the ETS stream, you liar. You bastard. I'm going 10 under the limit, and we're in the outside lane. Ridiculous. Okay, yeah, that clearly doesn't work. Flashing clearly does not work. Who would have known? Flashing doesn't work. Come on, you twat. This guy's a prick. I'd pull out, but I know for a fact I'll get stuck behind the fucking coach. If I'm lucky, this coach will turn off. Oh, there's literally nowhere for it to turn off. Oh, fuck, I thought we were at a turn-off point. So I've just screwed myself like I said I was going to do. I wasn't going to do, sorry. Pull back out here for now, you know. Actually be in a lane that we're, you know, we have some chance of getting somewhere. Because this guy's a jackass, we're going to speed past him. There we go. So. Yeah, we lost quite a bit. I think we lost 11 grand last session, which was absolutely devastating, honestly. But we also lost like a grand of XP. I might be a bit far from that. I do not remember. It was yesterday. It was yesterday recording for me. It was the last thing I did before I actually got some sleep. So, I genuinely do not remember what we got penalized. Okay, still 65, that's fine.
Keep left.
Don't worry, Doug, I intend to. Driving through the beautiful New Mexico. I do actually think, I must admit, I think pretty much every state I've been to in America is beautiful. Even California, as much as I don't like the state, it is a beautiful state. I shouldn't let my political opinion get in the way of such a beautiful landscape and place to visit. I think that's something, again, I'm not going to talk about politics, but this is like a generalized comment. I think that's something a lot of people could, you know, could do or should do, is not let their political opinion get in the way of stuff so much. Because it, you know, the pain. Too many people live and die by their political opinion. You know, that's not a way to, you know, kind of breed healthy conversation and dialogue. And, you know, when you're a diehard, like you're so diehard about your opinion that it's the same. Like, it doesn't just apply to politics; it applies to any opinion. Being so diehard or so vehement about your opinion unless it's in a joking way, obviously, which is obviously excluded from this example, but people who are like so vehement about an opinion are just honestly absolute twats. Like, it's okay to have an opinion, it's okay to disagree, but you know, be peace. Like, the disagreement should always be like a peaceful disagreement. Never like being vehement in your disagreement just makes you to be an absolute twat. And honestly, I hate people who have like, oh, I vehemently disagree with that. It's like, cool, that's fine. You can vehemently disagree with me. I don't mind. But there's no reason to be a twat about it. And that's pretty much like where I stand on stuff like that. That's kind of why I don't talk about politics and that, because I know that these days, if you don't toe the party line or don't toe the line that the people that are, you know, the main group in wherever you are, or the main group in whatever like scene you like live in. So if you like, you're a D&D, you're a cosplayer, if you're like a gamer, if you're a trying to figure the different sectors that I'm not a part of. Like if you're a book writer, if you're a writer, if you're a journalist, if you're anything, if you don't really like you. Just because essentially like your pastime and profession kind of dictates whether or not it's okay to talk about your political beliefs, which I don't think should be. I think it's definitely like a bit shit for stuff like that to happen. I don't think anyone should be restricted by what they do, especially as I don't think like gamers like as a whole should be expected to be like certain things or have certain opinions and stuff like that. It's fucking retarded. And I think that's the best way to put it is I don't give a shit what your political beliefs are or your opinions are. As long as you respect mine, I'll respect yours. That's pretty much how it works. I will joke around, and obviously if I know someone, I'll say you're fucking stupid. But 9 times out of 10, if I say that to someone, they're my friend, and I'm taking the piss out of something we both disagree on. We know we disagree on, but we don't really give a shit. Same with when I run my D&D games. Like, I will give my players the ability to tell me what they're not comfortable with, but if they don't tell me if they're not comfortable with something and I do it, I employ it into the game as like a narrative piece. Which, you know what? I'm gonna change the style. I'm gonna add to this conversation. I'm gonna make this more of like a PSA for DMs who are new to DMing, or those who have DM'd for a while but kind of struggle with this aspect of the game, because it is something that you need, like, you either need really good players or need to understand the boundaries really well. So I do apologize if you're here just for trucking. Please enjoy the lovely trucking and, you know, my bullshit rant over it. But yeah, if you are a new dungeon master or you're an experienced dungeon master who just really struggles with this aspect of the game, when it comes to employing content or in storylines or plot points or generally like backstories that include stuff like you know, stuff that your party hasn't outwardly said they're interested, like, again, it's like, there are certain things that definitely are very hard to pull off very well, unless you're, like, a master at telling a story and a master at employing a narrative in a way that isn't horror, like, is really good at showing the horror, but not, you know, kind of expecting your players to experience it, if you know what I mean. Probably hard to explain, but essentially there are certain things that players obviously don't want, like SA, which, you know, includes the R word when it comes to two people and unwillingness, because I know that word will get me demonetized on YouTube, so I'm not saying it. And there are other things like slavery and, you know, other implements that are very good narratively, but some players don't like, or some players don't realize they don't want, because, you know, you employ them in a way that is very unhelpful or narratively not bad, but narratively not disingenuous either. But essentially, you implement in a way that is kind of places a kind of essentially makes it a bit. If you describe it too much or you go into it too much, but essentially, if you struggle with all of these issues and your players haven't outwardly told you, there is a system you can use, which I would recommend using as well as any all the rest of this examples. But essentially, there is a card system you can use where, you know, red, yellow, green, yellow, red. Essentially, they tell you how content they are with certain, how they are feeling with certain content of the game and going on. And that's a way to feed them to tell you without you needing to. Wait a second. No, I can go one more. We'll go to the next one. We'll go to this one. But yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
There are like, essentially they can use that to tell. But what I would recommend if you're employing these things and you haven't been told about them I would recommend bringing them up in a way that is non-confrontational. Bring them up in a way that essentially they're there, but they're kind of like something that you don't readily over-explain or explain to such a degree that's so visceral that it could react, know a reaction from it. Just kind of explain it in a way that's like, well, it goes on, and if it's paramount to like plot lines, then explain it in a way that's descriptive, but descriptive in the sense of explaining its cruelty. Don't kind of like justify it. That's probably the best way to put it. Because there are some, like, not justify, justifies wrong. There are some DMs who kind of like do it to kind of create the visceral reaction. You don't want to go over the top. So I feel like it's really hard for me to explain because I've implemented it well before, but it's hard to explain how to do so without kind of just knowing. So what I would do is I'd test it with players who are less, not squeamish, but less worried about stuff like that, or don't mind if it's included. And then to the players who don't know if they are very like orange and very yellowy in the terms of like either the card, very much like don't know, like they don't know how they feel about it. If you employ it in a way that is essentially meaningful, gives them something to achievable out of it, they might come over to it. But essentially, if you're employing like harsher topics, just kind of throw them out there if they haven't said anything about it, but throw them out there in a way that they can, that it's kind of like just go in, dip the toes in, and if they don't mind it, dip the foot in, and just slowly kind of give them the back like the actual like feeling of that like aspect to that is considered like worrying content, I guess you could say. So just keep giving them it and see what they say, and go from there. But if anyone ever gives you a red card, then stop, obviously. But anyway, don't know how I got onto this topic. Oh right, difference in opinions and so that. Yeah, essentially, fuck people who are vehement with their opinions. There you go. I don't know how we got. This is the thing I like about American Truck, is I can just talk shit, and I feel like it's like a mini therapy session for me. I can talk about something that has probably pissed me off for the day, or something I find really annoying, or generally just I can talk about stuff that I like D&D, and like giving out in what I consider decent D&D tips. Whether or not you guys will find them useful, or if you guys agree, that's completely fine. I really don't mind. I'm not a master DM. I've DM'd for a couple of years now, and my players have always said that they really enjoy my game, so I've never had any issues. I have had one game where someone said to me it was a bit boring, but that was because I hadn't come pre-ready, which is fine because I hadn't, and because I've been feeling super down lately. I immediately knew my mistake, and I said to them, "Don't worry, it's gonna get better. I will fix it next week." And that's another thing I think a lot of players don't understand in D&D. If you're a player and you have a DM who's genuinely asking for your opinion, you know them, and you know that they're like, they're not the type of person to overreact, because some DMs definitely can overreact and can be a little bit aggressive. Well, not aggressive, that's the wrong word. A little bit overprotective of their world, and they're overprotective of how they DM. And sometimes it just takes that one person to be like, oh yeah, I didn't really enjoy it, for them to kind of crumble a little bit. So be careful when you do give thing, but make sure but do give feedback always. Just sometimes word it better than word it a little bit nicer. There's no reason to word it in a dickish way. But to put it anyway, I asked my players for feedback. They gave me feedback, and I told them how I was going to remedy it. That's how an interaction should go if you're playing D&D and your DM is like asking for feedback. If you give feedback and then your DM's like, goes a bit, oh. At that point, probably don't keep going on that line, but kind of like reinforce your stance and say you did enjoy yourself, but so it depends on the person. Essentially, feel out how they respond, and then kind of word your response accordingly, because you don't want to offend them, obviously, because you know what people are offended like these days. Now, in all sense, you don't want to upset your DM and make them feel like they're not good at it, because then you might not have D&D anymore, and that's just no fun. But essentially, to talk about my own experience again, I asked them for the feedback. He gave me the feedback saying he was, was a bit bored, because I didn't have the systems pre-built, because we're playing a homebrew campaign, playing a homebrew thing on a homebrew continent set in Exandria, because I could not be asked making my own world this time. I've made my own world before. Honestly, couldn't be asked this time. Just did not want to waste the effort. I just want to have a nice, quick game. I mean, pretty much everything takes place in my own continent on Exandria. But you know, you get the point. Like, the Critical Role world is a really good world to just build up on and use. And yeah, so obviously great thanks to Matt Mercer for letting it, like, not minding people using it. But yeah, so I essentially set them up to do some. This is gonna sound really shit, but they were doing some mining, and I hadn't, because obviously they're level 3. They just got into this continent. They're lost. You know, they're not really. You know, they're just kind of getting themselves established, trying to make some money. And I hadn't really thought about it because of how bad I've been feeling mentally lately. I didn't have time to kind of go into it in my own time. Well, I had the time, but I couldn't focus doing it, more accurately. I couldn't focus and sit down and kind of get it done. Because of that, I didn't have a system until obviously we played. And it did take a little bit of time to go through. And because we had a short session due to some issues with some of the players and, you know, no power and whatnot, the session felt a little bit flat. And I understand. I know this. I kind of felt it did, but I kind of pushed through. But essentially, the whole point of what I'm getting to in this is, I took that feedback and I moved on with it. But some players, some people don't give DMs feedback, and if you don't give your DM feedback, if there's something that's bothering you, it won't get fixed. Because you as a player have just as much say as a DM in terms of like what you enjoy and what you don't enjoy. Now, if obviously you're wanting something, is he good? Right. He's not going to turn his screen. Right. If there's something you don't like in a game and you think it's something that, you know, you want to talk to your DM about, you're saying you feel like you should talk about it. Putting off talking about something to your DM will never make it better. It never fixes the issue. It just exacerbates the issue. I'm going to just turn in here.
Go straight.
You say auto only, but every time you say that game, I just ignore you and go in anyway. But yeah, so essentially, I do apologize if this kind of got fully into D&D shit, but I love D&D and it's one of my favorite topics. I really want people to keep, you know, if they're into the D&D, if they're into D&D, I want them to continue to pursue D&D as like as a DM or as a player. And if you don't like your DM, there are other DMs and there are places to find DMs. There are places where you can find a DM who will, you know, paid DMs as well. Like, there are really cool paid DMs who, you know, do really good work. Also, there's a stigma about paid DMs. If someone's a paid DM and you don't like their price, you don't have to pay, remember. But what I would say is, if you find a paid DM and you can find a group, or you just want to join a random group, joining random groups of paid DMs can actually be a really nice way to get, you know, used to the game. Because when it comes to paid DMs as well, I'm going to say this: paid DMs can take criticism far better than those who are just normal DMs and doing it for the friends. Because when you're doing it for your friends, there is this expectation that, you know, these are your friends. You can speak to them how you like, you know. You don't need, you know, and sometimes you don't want to upset your friends, so you don't want to give them any feedback that might actually, you know, impact how the game is done and how, you know, you may have like someone in this group that is one of their friends and you don't like them and you're like, oh shit, now I can't say anything. Whereas with paid DMs, you're paying to be there. It's an activity you're engaging in via, like, you're paying to be there. So if you're not really good at giving if you're not really good at talking up, and you want to like try like
right and then turn right.
Son of a bitch. You want to try something, I would recommend trying like joining a paid game.
Turn right.
It may actually help you a lot. It's a weird way to look at it, but it may help you. Well, I recommend it. Because yeah, like I said, you have a lot more control over your opinion. Like, your opinion is a lot more important because the DM, it's like you're paying for it. They want your opinion way more than a friend would. A friend will want it, but they can get upset easier. Whereas a paid DM, they know that going into it, there's going to be, you know, there is going to be some, okay, I didn't enjoy this, I didn't enjoy that, you know, you know, this was great, this was a little bit lackluster, okay, I'm having problems with this player, I think they're, you know, this issue. It's going to be a lot easier because you don't know these people, so, you know, the DM is your conduit at that point. Whereas if you're playing a group and you don't know them, but you know that that person's a friend of the DM, it becomes a lot harder to say your opinion. But anyway, that's pretty much it. If you're a player, just keep playing and keep enjoying and give your DM feedback. If your DM's doing something wrong, let them know. Best way to put it. I don't know why I'm talking about this shit anymore. I feel like D&D is one of those topics where I just go from topic to topic, but either way, let's focus on our trucking, because right now we're Having a beautiful truck for... We're finally in Texas again, which is nice. I mean, we were in Texas when we, pulled off to get fuel, but... Neither here nor there, isn't it? I'm just enjoying myself, guys. It's just going so well. Only 2 levels away now, guys. 2 levels. And we are going to upgrade our truck to the big sleeper, the big wheelbase. Gonna be beautiful. Our truck is going to be amazing. We're also gonna have the 240 gallon, which is the main thing. That extra 40 gallons is going to be a lot, especially with our. We'll probably have 5 levels in eco fuel by then. So yeah, 5 levels in eco fuel definitely do be useful. And one day we may go back to pulling freight, but freight is just not as profitable as this is for us. Like, when on average these jobs are like 80, it's like 70 to 80 or average, and the other jobs are like 60 to like 50 to 60. If we look at the freight market right now, the best job at the moment is 95. The best job in thing is 100. And that 95 quickly goes down to 94 and then goes for, but again, these 28 diesel. Diesel, very good. We are in legitimately probably one of the best markets in terms of what we're exploiting, we're taking around everywhere. I think the only one that might be better is medical, but I don't actually know what trailer you can get to get medical in. I still need to look it up because I am interested in looking it up and taking specifically medical stuff as well. But it's, that's like far in the future. I'd rather get a triple for this bad boy first. Oh, beautiful. I love the interstate. Oh, piss. I like the interstate, but I hate way stations.
Okay.
Yeah, it's coming. I came in a little bit thick and fast right there. Only 36 tons. I've only got 21 tons of thing. 10 hours left of the trip, guys. Beautiful. Interstate trips definitely also go way quicker in terms of hours passing, because you're going high speed far longer. Pull out here. I think there is a traffic light here. I think this is the one interstate where there's a traffic light. Yeah, you can tell there's a traffic light because there's people stopped. And also they appear as well. Oh wow, this is like that classic really long line. Yeah, I don't mind getting stuck because I want to get a drink because I'm talking a lot today, which means I'm going to need a lot of drinks. Oh, guys, good. Pepsi Max is great, guys. If you don't like Pepsi Max, something's wrong with you. Obviously, I'm joking. To go back to, oh shit. Yep, that I need to fix this. Note to self: having really old chairs are all well and good until you have to fix them every 2 weeks. Now the real question is: are we going to get stuck in these lights again?
Go straight.
I don't think we should. It depends on the guy in front. Oh. I was gonna say it depends on him whether or not he slows down. Oh god, yeah, this My chair is super fucked today. Yeah, I need to fix that. So I guess what I'm doing in between this part and the next part, fixing my fucking chair. Wait, 473 a gallon? 498. All right. I'll take the 473 if you've got it. Off we go. You know, wake up wherever we are. Actually, I don't think this town has a name. Well, I mean, it will have a name, but I don't think it's on the map, so I don't actually know what it is. But let's get out of here.
Go straight.
Back onto the beautiful interstate. Only up to 50? That's bullshit. Fort Worth, 184 miles. Beautiful. Not long at all. A couple of hours away. I mean, we are going all the way to the Texan border, the eastern Texan border, so got a lot of stuff to go play. A lot of time to go. Don't know how many times we've driven on this road, but I feel like we've driven on this interstate quite a lot now. I feel like this interstate and I are getting very acquainted. And why wouldn't we? 75 miles an hour. It's absolutely beautiful. Yeah, your trailer's not as cool as mine. I have like way more lights. Though I think we can get the exclusive side ones at some point. I don't know when. I'm hoping soon, because I'd kind of like to get a full exclusive back on there. Will we inevitably stop using it, you know, in terms of, you know, trying out something new? Okay, just realized there's an absolute chunker of a truck in the outside lane, so we don't want to be there. We want to make sure we can go past the chunker. I think we're also nearly up to 24,000 miles, so we are just chewing up the miles in this truck. It's beautiful. I just realized, I think we're actually a higher level. I think we've done less miles to get to a higher level than we have in America, in Euro Truck Sim, in our Euro Truck Sim career for streaming. Pretty sure I've put in more hours in that game and more miles to get to the level we're at. Like, I'm pretty sure by the time we got to level 23 then, we'd done more miles. I mean, it does help that we've been doing our own trailer, and, you know, we've been getting a fuck ton more XP just to using we're using our own trailer to do ADR stuff. Look at that little Peterbilt. Beautiful little truck. Oh shit, someone's trailer burnt down. I bet they lost a few grand. Yeah. Still not flipped though, so I feel like you know, I'd rather be flipped, I think, because I at least could get saved. In the game at the very least. As long as the speed limit doesn't change while there's a police officer around, that's great. If it changes while there's an officer around, I'll cry. Go down to 60? When do we go down to 60?
Keep right.
Okay, I can see the... Well, that's fine, because I needed to be in this lane anyway, so I needed to slow down. See? Everything worked out. And that's what I call a win. Ah, beautiful. Oh, I can't actually let's get out of here. We're into Wichita Falls. I don't know how many hours we've got till our rests. I should probably check. I'm enjoying being on the main road, like the big interstate, so I don't have to care.
Keep
Beautiful.
left.
This is still an interstate, isn't it? No, we're on the 287. 287's not an interstate. May as well bloody be, but... Yeah, this isn't technically an interstate. Feels like one. This is definitely a highway. To Fort Worth and beyond. Oh, shit. I went over the limit a little bit then. How long have we got till our break? We've got 3 hours and 25 minutes. 2 hours 45. Come off it, we'll go there.
Drive safe.
Yeah, that'll be much better. Yeah, so we'll call this a 40-minute part then, maybe?
Keep left.
I don't know. Well, we'll go to 40 minutes and then we'll just end the part there. And if the next part needs to be extended a little bit, we'll extend it a little bit, you know? We will figure it out. Just like using this little bit of ramp here to get ourselves closer to 75. Oh, look at that. That actually did a really good job. I didn't expect it to work that well. Just need to make sure I fix my chair before the next part, because if I don't, it's going to be rickety and crappy for the entirety of the next part. Ugh. I forgot to get the Allen keys from my mother as well to make it easier to fix. Because at the moment I've been kind of bodge fixing it, and I've not been able to tighten it as much as I want to. I've been able to just kind of get it tight enough that it comes looser after a week or so, two. Unfortunately, like I said, without Allen keys, I can't do it properly. But yeah, I'll go grab those tomorrow, probably. Well, today probably. There we go. Back up to 79. Absolutely beautiful. Wonder where that access road goes. I mean, it looks like it just follows the highway, so I don't know why the fuck you'd go out there. Does not look like it would be worth going out. Those clouds look... I don't know if I've ever said this, but the clouds in ATS and ETS look so fucking beautiful. Don't get me wrong. I'm not big into, like, you know, like scenery and stuff like that, but like playing these games really does bring out how beautiful scenery can be. And there is obviously certain RPGs where I've obviously been fully enamored by the scenery. One of those is actually Wild Hearts. For all the issues it definitely had, like on PC and not as many on PS5, because I bought it on PS5 the day it came out and it was really good. But on PC it definitely had some issues. But that game knew how to look good. Which is, it feels really annoying to say I like, I like EA games, some games. I like Most Wanted, sorry, not Most Wanted, I like the original Most Wanted. The 2012 one can go in the bin. But what I was going to say is, I like the Need for Speed games. I liked Unbound, I thought it was really good. I don't mind the UFC games either, they're a bit, I don't know, I feel like this fourth one was pretty much just the third one but reskinned. I definitely feel like it could have been used a bit more. We don't talk about Battlefield. That's just that's a disappointment and a half right there. Yeah, I like EA, and I didn't expect to like a game made by EA, published by EA, made by Koei. Because don't get me wrong, I like Koei games, but they are very, very, very.
Keep left.
You've got to find the gems in the rough. That's the problem with the Koei games, is they're good games, or they have made good games, but they're like diamonds in the rough, some of them. I'm pretty sure Koei made the ROTK series, which is obviously some of the diamonds, and even them, some of those are a bit ugh. But yeah, a game published by, like, when I found out about Wild Hearts, and I was like, huh, a game made by Koei and published by EA. Don't know how I feel about it. But I played the trial, and honestly, amazing game. Legitimately, one of the best games. Like, it is going to be hopefully, an absolute beast of a competitor to Monster Hunter. Because I love Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter has been completely just no one's been facing Monster Hunter at all when it comes to like similar games. But unfortunately, guys, as much as I want to keep talking about this, I need to end this part here. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did enjoy, please do follow me on YouTube, leave a like, leave a comment, leave a share. But most importantly, guys, stay safe, have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next one for some more Stylers and Trucking. See you guys then.